Let's take a look at the syntax of the VLOOKUP function. The first argument is the value that I'm looking up, and now this is going to be the column on the leftmost side of your data. VLOOKUP looks vertically, that's why it's called VLOOKUP, through that first column to find a value that you give it. The value that we're giving Excel to look for is energy right now. It's the name of the industry of the company that we want to return. Moving on to the second argument, this is where I designate the table array. So I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to include the first column that Excel is looking for. It's important to include first the column with the different lookup values and also all of the data that we want Excel to be able to look through and return. Finally, we specify the column index number. Excel counts this leftmost column with our industries as column number 1. The first column with our data is column number 2, and then the rightmost column is number 3. And we're choosing our column in this cell C8. Finally, in the fourth argument, we specify whether we want an approximate match with our lookup value or if we need an exact match. We usually are going to want an exact match, so I'm going to put 0 to indicate false, close my parentheses, and hit enter. And now you'll see that Excel is going through this leftmost column with our industries. It's finding the industry that I chose, energy, and then it's going to column 2, column 3, and returning the data in that cell, which in this case is BP for British Petroleum. Now that I have this VLOOKUP function built, I can go in here and change my industry to retail, and it'll give us the company in the third column in the retail row. Or I can change that to column 2, and it'll return Walmart. Or I could even hit column 1, and it'll just return retail, that firstmost column. The VLOOKUP function can be very valuable when you're trying to pull information from a large data table. The HLOOKUP function is identical to the VLOOKUP function, except instead of looking vertically through the first column, the HLOOKUP function looks horizontally across the first row, which is why it's called HLOOKUP. We've transposed our table here, and we have our industries across the top and our data below. When I open up the HLOOKUP function, the arguments are exactly the same as VLOOKUP. First, I'm going to start with my lookup value, which is my industry again. Then my table array, including that first row with my industries. Finally, I'm going to pass it the row index number, and again, it counts the first row with my labels as row number 1, the second row is row number 2, and then that bottommost row is number 3. And I'm going to refer up to this cell C8. Again, I want an exact match, so my fourth argument is going to be 0. And just like the VLOOKUP function, Excel is going to give us BP. It's looking for, across this row, energy. When it finds energy in that column, it goes to row number 2, number 3, to find BP, and it returns that. So again, I can change this to technology, and Excel will give us the technology company in the third row. I can change my row to row number 1. It'll give us the label, row number 2, and it'll give us Apple.